I'm going to go in a little bit of detail of what the mayor spoke about, but first I'll say that fostering an atmosphere and a respectful environment within LMPD for all employees is vital to the overall success of this agency and this city. Employees and officers have to feel comfortable in the place that they work in order to serve the public. We are committed to preventing and addressing any sexual harassment within our organization. It is important that we get this right and uphold the values and standards of this department. Culture trumps policy any day. We can change all the policies that we want, but we have to reinforce those through the culture of the department. We are dedicated to creating a culture of respect, where every individual feels both valued and safe to do their job. Respect and dignity are fundamental values and ethics for this department. Today we're announcing a few policy updates related to our sexual harassment policy in order that they more closely align with Louisville Metro government policy at large. The updates will shift the need to prove sexual harassment from a burden of severe or pervasive action to one that has an unreasonableness standard to making people feel uncomfortable in the workplace. Additionally, sexual harassment is more clearly defined within the policy, whereas before it was lumped in with multiple forms of harassment and racial discrimination. It now has its own exclusive definition. As we previously said, violations of these policies will be taken seriously, and the policy will reflect that the consequences for violation of these policies will be up to and including termination if necessary. We're working to streamline the reporting process for avenues to report sexual harassment, both internally and externally. Internally, previously, it was reported through the chain of command unless there was a conflict within that chain of command. Now, an officer or a member is no longer prohibited by policy or inhibited by policy to report to anyone. They can report directly to the special investigations, they can report through their chain of command, they can report directly to the chief's office or to LMPD Human Resources. Externally, they can report to the Office of the Inspector General, the Ethics Tip Line, or Metro Human Resources. These are all avenues that anyone who feels that they have been victimized can report to directly. We are going to be implementing better and more thorough training for the entire body of Louisville Metro Police. That includes civilian staff, command staff, and officers. We have already begun to undertake this through training with our executive staff and our command staff that was put on last week by the Jefferson County Attorney's Office to better understand both the policy, reporting requirements, signs and symptoms, and behaviors that are acceptable and unacceptable in the workplace. We are developing this training on how to report incidents, what to do if you have witnessed sexual harassment, and the appropriate response for those receiving and or handling reports of sexual harassment. We will also be initiating specific training for people who will investigate claims of sexual harassment. We recognize that that is a very unique type of complaint, and it takes a unique skill set in order to investigate that properly and appropriately. We also want to make sure that all of the support mechanisms that we have in place are there to support people in their time of need after these types of incidents. We want employees who have been victimized by sexual harassment or feel they have been victimized by sexual harassment to understand that we are there to support them to stay whole and become whole employees. These support services include our chaplains, our victim services unit, as well as our mental health services that operate out of the Summit Wellness Center. We're also working on external support services for officers and employees to be able to reach out to. Understand that LMPD is going to have a zero tolerance policy for sexual harassment. We will take this very, very seriously. I am confident that both the policy updates, the training updates are going to be impactful to our culture and how we approach issues related to sexual harassment. I am in a process of learning. We are all in a process of learning. Everyone in here has made mistakes before. Some mistakes have greater consequences than others, and we have to recognize that. Some mistakes are far more impactful on people than others, and we cannot allow that to negatively impact other people. And they must hold consequences that are severe and swift. We must be better at creating a culture within our police department and our community to hold each other accountable and to improve every single day. Lastly, I'll say that the men and women of LMPD deserve to be proud of their department. We've had too many self-inflicted wounds over the years. The men and women who work here are really, really good people. They're good-hearted people who signed up to serve. We as a command staff are going to do everything in our power to make them proud to be part of this department, because they deserve that. And that's what we're here for, because they have to go out and protect people and keep the community safe so that we can focus on crime issues, community issues, quality of life issues, not internal issues that we've created for ourselves. The community deserves that. The men and women of LMPD deserve that.